Hi guys, this is Tim Michael with another lesson for you from my website timmichaelarts.com, and going to look at how to do some shading today, and well, actually coloring. And we've already done one step of coloring, which is taking the face and coloring it to look like it's in 3D or in Marvel style, very gradient looking as much as possible. And now it's going to come down to the costume design. So I'm just going to take this upper torso and give it a look. And going to do that the same way as I did the face, pretty much, but I'm doing it with the anatomy of the arms and the chest and things. Now, the challenge is figuring out what we want this costume to look like. So I'm just going to go in with a white pencil and just kind of sketch out what I'm thinking for this torso. And quality of design, I'm clueless, so we'll see how this looks. And try and make sure when you do the costume design that you follow along with the concept of the muscles. So where the muscles are going to be is where you need to make sure to keep that into account as you draw this, where these colors are going to mesh. Okay. Kind of stealing from Spider-Man a little bit. Not too bad, though. Kind of like that. Okay. I think that's enough for me to go on to know about what to do next. I'm going to make another layer. Drop it below that. So I can turn that on and off if I want, or delete it when I'm ready. Now, my two favorite colors are black and orange. So I'm going to make sure that I get black and orange in here. Now, obviously, when you work on black, you've already inked this with black. So you want to color it with a slightly grayer black. So the black lines still stand out. Okay. And then also remember, we're in a night environment, so what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to make the orange stand out more over the black. So let me go find my orange. And I think I'm going to do most of this in orange, just to make sure that the detail that I want caught will stand out when I work on lighting. The nice thing about my technique when it comes to working with color is that the only thing you need to remember is that you need to have a base tone and a couple shades for shadow and highlight. And that's really all that you need to know when it comes down to that. So always start off with your base tone. Now, you can't do that in real life with things like watercolor. I work with watercolor on a daily basis. And with that, you have to start off with a highlight. But you're in Photoshop. You're allowed to cheat. This isn't cheating here. So what I'm going to do is start off with my mid-tone and then work around it. And don't worry about going outside the lines, because you can erase everything later. And actually, I've learned that when you go outside of the lines, it gives you more freedom. My brain needs to do things by the book. So when I see that I've made a mistake, I want to fix it. But if this is not a mistake yet, because then I can just go over this. So you see how I'm spilling so much over here? And doing it on both sides? Well, I mean, if I want, I can grab a darker tone, and I don't need to feel bad if I spill again, just to get that shading tone right. You know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to go outside the lines, because you can erase it all later. It doesn't take that long. Okay, now let's go ahead and grab my gray-black. And this isn't the deepest black I'm going to be... this isn't the deepest black I'm going to be going. I obviously want it to look like black. Right now it looks more like gray. So using the shading technique that I've learned, it's obviously going to get much darker. And you will see. Alright, we're at 4 minutes, so we're doing fairly decent. Well, 5 minutes now. Okay. And usually I would ink in the costume as well. So I would have already had that pre-inked, but of course, I didn't think about that when I was inking, so I can ink it in a little bit. But I want to show you just how to deal with colors other than skin tones. I can do this in the speed paint. That looks pretty sweet, doesn't it? It's actually a pretty good looking costume. Alright, so now that the base tones are laid down, we have our mid-range black and our mid-range orange. Now I can go ahead and start doing the actual shading of those colors. So I'm just going to drop a little bit more red into my orange. Okay, and then I'm going to drop my opacity down just like I did for the face. And make a fairly good sized brush. And then I'm just going to start doing what I was saying. Just hit those regions. And like I said, don't be afraid to go out of the lines. It actually helps if you do. Take it just a bit darker. And don't be afraid to cover over his face and anything. Don't be afraid to draw directly over it. This is a separate layer. You are not harming your drawing in any way, shape, or form. Your first goal here is to make sure that you're getting your tones right. He looks cool, doesn't he? I like it. Now, as you can see, I am starting to go over the black a little bit, which is a problem. So, what I should have done is should put the black on a separate layer. So, let's see if I can do that. Let me go ahead and select some of the black area here. And that's by using my magic wand tool and hitting the shift button to select the different parts. Once I'm done selecting them, then once it's fully selected, I go to Layer, New, and Layer via Cut. Now I have it programmed into my Cintiq, a certain button that I have set, and watch what happens. I'm going to press that button, and it takes the blacks up and gets them out of my way. And as far as I can tell, it took most of it. There are a couple little areas where it didn't, but that's okay. It did good. It did very good. And we're at 7 minutes now, so I need to hurry up. Okay. Let me go ahead and finish painting the orange, and then I'll try and hit the black a little bit. But we're down to a couple more minutes left over, so I need to make sure that I get this done. I'm going to go in with one more deeper tone of orange here on the top. I'm going to really raise up my opacity to about 50% because I really want that to show on top of the red orange. You know, obviously I almost want it to go to black, but this drawing might not turn out that way. Let me go a bit darker. Yeah, that's more what I was looking for. The thing I've learned about art and about shading, it's all about feeling. What feels, not that I agree with this in all situations, but what feels right. And I'm a youth pastor. Feelings lie. But when it comes to art, you can usually feel out art. Anyway, that looks really cool so far. I really like this. Okay, now obviously there's not much of a gradient going on there, so I'm going to go ahead and create that gradient. I'm going to get my blending tool, and I'm just going to start pulling this down. Now, you got to be careful, because if you pull, it's going to literally pull. See how it's stretching things? You don't want to do that. The technique for properly using the blending brush is to get in and make very small micro adjustments up and down, just kind of scrape along, up and down, up and down, up and down, coming across. And if it doesn't look right, then maybe go vertical. horizontal. Now, my warning, though, is if you use a big brush and you do it too much, your CPU may say, hang on, and it's going to go into thinking mode, and it may take a couple seconds to process the work that you just did. So use a smaller brush and work in small detail. If you pull too far, it's going to show, and it's not going to look right. Now, I'm also using finger paint, so I'm going to turn that off. Oh, excuse me. If you don't know what I mean when I say finger paint mode, then you need to go to, I think it's a couple tutorials back, and check out there about the finger painting tutorial that works really well when it comes down to this. Excuse that burp a little bit ago. I had some Diet Coke. I likes my Diet Coke. I'm nothing without my Diet Coke. There we go. Anyway, that looks really cool, doesn't it? And, of course, as you can see, I can erase all this stuff later. Sorry about that. Bumped my microphone. Let me hit this black here while I got a couple minutes to spare. And just so I can get it out of the way now and not have to worry about it later, make sure that you check out my website, Pt5.5.com. And you can also check out my secondary channel, which is Tim Michael Arts 2, which is my vlog. The TimMichaelArts.com has a whole bunch of great stuff, including extra speed paints. It's got my very first speed paint that I ever did. That was a couple years back. Also have on there my my caricature sales, where you can buy a caricature if you want, and I can do you as a Marvel character if you want. Whatever you like. And then what else? Can't think and draw at the same time here. Yeah, that's about it. So you can check out my caricatures. You can check. Oh, that's right. I also have webcomics on there. No duh. Can't forget the webcomics, dude. So make sure you check out my webcomics there. I got 2 webcomics out. One's called Saints Alive. The other one called No Clue. Saints Alive is a Christian webcomic. It is based around my youth group. Each one of the characters in there is actually a person in real life that I have a friendship with on a daily basis. And the other one, No Clue, is a couple characters that I created, and they just do their daily antics. So make sure you check that out. It's kind of fun. I like it. And I gotta update it. It comes out once a week. Alright, there we go. So that looks really cool. So anyway, hope that you enjoyed that, and I will begin the speed paint now, and I'll show you that when I get done with that. And of course, those take longer to render and could take several days and blah, 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 blah. Just bear with me. All right, God bless you guys. I'll see you later.